Namaste.
Om Vakratunga Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Sarvekam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaje Bhavarogina Nidhaye Sarvavidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Sakshat Kritam Dayanandam Paramarthasvarupinam Tattvajnana Prashastaram Pranatosmi Param Padam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketase cha We are seeing the summary of the entire Upanishad, Kaṭhopaniṣat. The Upanishad, we know that it has two chapters, chapter being called Adhyaya, and each Adhyaya having three sections called Valli. Therefore, there are 6 Vallis and 2 chapters. We have summarized 2 Vallis in the last class. In the first Valli, the student met his teacher. The student was the Nachiketa, a young, intelligent boy of just 9 years old. He goes to Yamaloka and he meets Yamadharmaraja. Later, Yamadharmaraja gives him 3 boons. The first boon, he encouraged that he should go back. When he goes back, when I go back, my father should receive me happily. Shanta Sankalpaha. Then, as a second boon, he asked for the Agni Vidya. Agni Vidya, the Vidya, the knowledge for gaining higher Loka, Sarga Loka. And the first, these 2 boons were given without any hesitation by Yamadharmaraja. Then he asked a third boon, that is Brahma Vidya. That Yamadharmaraja did not give easily. He tested Nachiketa by offering all the objects of the world all the Vishaya Sukham, which not even the world could offer. Even the Sukham, the pleasure of highest possibility, he offered. By all means, he tried to tempt Achiketa, but Achiketa did not deviate from his boon that he wanted to know. Only that knowledge, he wanted to gain only that knowledge. That knowledge is Atma Vidya. Even though that he did not ask directly, but it is implied. He wanted to know the secret of death. What is that which survives after death? Indirectly, it means Atma Vidya only. It is, he wants to have the knowledge of Atma. And when Yamadharmaraja saw his tenacity in sticking to the goal, he was very happy and therefore started teaching. This is the first Valli which we saw. And in the second Valli, there was the glorification of the Acharya Stuti, Guru Stuti, and the Shishya Stuti, as well as the Vidya Stuti, glorification of the Vidya. This Vidya is gained only by these qualified people and taught by, it can be given only by a knowledgeable person. And the student being Adhikari and the teacher being a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, then this knowledge will happen helplessly. So therefore, this glorification of the Vidya done, and afterwards Nachiketa, again he asked the question in a refined way, the same question what he asked in the first Valli. Then Yamadharmaraja is started talking on Onkara Upasana, through which a person can gain mukti either through going to the Brahmaloka, or that is through Saguna Upasana or Maindriguna Upasana. Sadhyo Mukti, one can gain. Gain means knowing, one can know. Knowing is gaining. In the case of Brahma Vidya, gaining is knowing. Always we have to note this. Gaining is knowing. That one can know Brahma, and therefore moksha, gain moksha here itself. Knowing Brahma is gaining moksha. Knowing Brahma is equal to gaining mukti, sadhya mukti. Then Yamadharmaraja, he talked on Atma. Atma is Chaitanya Swarupa, it is Nirvikara, it is neither the Karanam nor the Karya. Aham Atma, Akarta, Abhokta, Vikriyaha Atma. And this Atma is the Adhisthana of everything. And it can be gained, it can be known through Dhatu Prasadat, Magimanam Atmanaha, that is called Vairagya. And finally, Yamadharmaraja said that Atma is the Adhisthana of everything, including time and space. Deshakala. The last mantra of the last Valli is of Brahmana Kshatriya. The word Brahmana Kshatriya was used. Yasya Brahma cha Kshatram cha. Brahma is Brahmana, Kshatra is Kshatriya. The combination of these two, Brahmana and Kshatriya, represent Odana, the main dish. And Mrityuho, the Yamadharmaraja, represents the side dish. In a food, in a bhojanam, main dish will be there, side dish will be there. Main dish is, the Odanam is Brahmana and Kshatriya. The side dish is Mrityuhu. The entire creation is represented by the words Brahmana and Kshatriya, the very two important components of the society. Why? Because they protect the society by upholding dharma. Therefore, the Upanishad uses these words to represent the Chetana Vastus and Achetana Vastus. And Mrityu, the side dish, represents time, Kala Tattva. Therefore, the idea is Atma is above Desha Kala. Deshatitaha, Kalatitaha. All these cannot limit Atma. And the Brahmana and Kshatriya, they represent the order in the society, the dharma, which sustains the world. Dharana dharma mityagahu, dharmo dharayate prajaha. So dharma. With this, the Valli was completed. And Kayita Veda Yatra Saha. Who can know this Atma? It is not easy to know this Atma. Only the qualified person can know this Atma when taught by the qualified teacher. Iti the Valli completed. It took one whole class to complete the 2 Vallis. In fact, it is worth doing because Kaṭhopaniṣat we completed after 3 years. Started before 3 years. We completed now. 150 classes, or if there are 50 classes a year, so actually 3 years, minimum 3 years, a little more than 3 years.
It's
Therefore,
4 years. It was 4 years. 4 years. It is
4
4
years.
years.
Yeah, 4 years.
It is to
One
so naturally,
March started.
when it was started,
4 years back, March.
4 years back.
2018 March.
So naturally, previously, we would have covered at least 2 years before. So we would have forgotten. In the Gurukulam, you know that Kaṭhopaniṣat, the class would take maximum 4 months or 5 months. So after 4 or 5 months, when it is completed, Swamiji will not give summary at all. But our Acharya would give summary. It just summary will be completed in one class. Just telling that this Valli, starting from this mantra to this mantra is a topic. So the range of mantras and the topics covered just in one class, because what you learned is fresh in your mind. Just 3-4 months, that to daily class. So you know, so all these are in your memory, can recollect easily. But we took 4 years to complete. Therefore, what we studied before, I can't expect you to remember everything. So therefore, revision takes time. It is as though we are just reading the entire Upanishad once again. So it is okay. Even it is worth taking one Valli class. That is a summary. We are not dealing with each mantra elaborately, but just revising the mantra so that it invokes your memory. Whatever you had listened to, whatever you had listened, that definitely would be there in the mind. It will be there. It may not be there on the surface, but it is there. Once it is told, then you can recall. Yes, you will remember. Yeah, this is what we heard, have been taught. That much is enough. So therefore, the revision is fine. Taking one Valli a class. I have not planned how many Vallis I will do today. Let us see. Oh, the Tritiya Valli begins. This is an important Valli. I'll show you the Moolam. Important Valli. If you remember, I have told you when we saw the Tritiya Valli, the first 2 Vallis are the Utpadakas. Utpadaka means they producer, because they presented the scope of the 3rd Valli to be started. Therefore, 3rd Valli is Utpadya, and the first 2 Vallis are Utpadaka. The first 2 Valli, they presented the scope for the 3rd Valli. So therefore, there is sambandha between the Vallis, Utpadaka, Utpadya sambandha. Having talked about stayers and prayers, then the Upanishad elaborated further. Therefore, the 3rd Valli becomes the cause of the previous 2 Vallis. The previous 2 Vallis are Utpadaka, and this is Utpadya. So in this Valli, the first mantra, Ratam Pibantau. Here, Pibantau iti Dvivachanam. Therefore, Jivatma and Paramatma, they are presented here. And in the second, the mantra, the 2 possible journeys of the Jiva are talked about, for which the 2 supports are also talked about. The supports are Aparam Brahma, Param Brahma. Aparam Brahma for those who follow the Karmakanda portion of the Veda, and Param Brahma for those who follow the Jnanakanda portion of the Veda, that is Vedanta. Aparam Brahma is Sagunam Brahma. Param Brahma is Nirguna Brahma. Therefore, in the first mantra, it is said that in the heart of the body of every individual, Guham Pravishto, consciousness Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam seems to be there as though. Chaitanyam being everywhere. It is Supalabdhisthana. It is there. Not as though it is there, but not only there. It is all pervading because of the Upadhi. It seems to be confined as though as Jivatma. That is called Chidabhasa. Jivatma is equal to Chidabhasa. Same meaning. No, there is no difference. Chit means Brahma. Chit Abhasa, Jivatma. Reflected Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam reflected in the Antakaranam. Antakaranam is a medium. The reflecting medium in which the reflection Chit Abhasa happens, Chidabhasa. And the Paramatma is, Brahma is all pervading consciousness. It as though it has entered the cave, Guham, Buddhi Guha, Hridaya Guha of the individual. So therefore, Paramatma blesses by mere presence a Jivatma. Because of that, Jivatma acts. The action of Jivatma is blessed by the Paramatma. Therefore, Jivatma undergoes varieties of experiences, which is what is termed by the Upanishad, Tibantau. The word Ritam. Ritam means Ritam and Satyam. There is a difference between the two words. Ritam and Satyam. Satyam is truth. Ritam means Satyam. In Taittiriya Upanishad, we will see the subtle difference. Ritam means Satyam. Ritam means that which will come to being for sure. That is Ritam. So therefore, here it is taken as Karma Palam. The Karma Palam of the Jiva will definitely come. Tibanto means they enjoy. Poktaro, what this Tibanto to Jivatma, Paramatma. Paramatma is which is everywhere, not limited by space. And Chidabhasa is located in the Antakaranam. And they are compared to Chaya, Tapo, shade and light. Chaya, shade. Atapa is light. Shade is dependent on the light, Atapa. Atapa means light. Light is independent of shade. Therefore, Paramatma, who is the light, Brahma, and Jivatma, which is a shade. Therefore, Paramatma, Brahma is independent of Jivatma, and Jivatma is dependent on Paramatma. They are being talked about by both the followers of Vedanta, that is Upanishads, and the followers of Karmakanda, Karmis, Jnanis and Karmis, both the Sannyasis and Grihasthas, we can say. For the people who are given to karma, for them, the destination, the result of all the karma is Sagunam Brahma. Whereas for Brahmavidaha, for the one who wants to know Brahma, for them the destination, the goal is Nirgunam Brahma, Moksha. Therefore, the karmis who are connected to Karmakanda will talk about Paramatma as Sagunam Brahma, Aparam Brahma. And Brahmavidaha would talk about Paramatma as Nirgunam Brahma. That is the first mantra. Second mantra, for those followers of Karmakanda, the portion of the Veda, Paramatma is like the means for crossing the ocean of samsara. And for the Brahmavidaha, the Paramatma becomes the bridge, setu, for crossing samsara. For both. But there's a difference. Jivas can take the help of Karmakanda and do the karmas like the Nachiketa Agni, which is the favorite ritual Yamadharmaraja himself had done, and he himself had taught to Nachiketa also. Therefore, the jiva has the option of doing the karma by which he can invoke the grace and gain punyam and goes to higher loka. Sometimes he can combine both karma and upasana, karma upasana samuchaya, the result of which is gaining Brahma loka. He can go to Brahma loka where he can get upadesha from Brahmaji and get krama mukti. That is one path. That is one path which is followed by the observers of karma, the followers of karma kanda. Karma upasana samuchaya dwara Brahma loka prapti. That is karma upasana marga. That is one. Another option available for the jiva is, instead of going to the higher loka, if he has vairagya, if he has sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, vairagya, mainly vairagya, he can pursue knowledge here itself. He can pursue knowledge and gain mukti. That is called sadhya mukti in this life, here itself. Therefore, two paths and two destinations. So therefore, one is a path of karma leading to higher loka or karma mukti. Higher loka by karma, karma mukti by karma upasana samuchaya. The other is a path of knowledge leading to sadhya mukti. Karma margis, for karma marga, the person would invoke Saguna Brahma, otherwise called Aparam Brahma. Karmi will resort to Aparam Brahma to gain higher loka or karma mukti. Therefore, the Aparam Brahma is called Setuhu, the bridge for the karmis. A bridge, what is the use of the bridge? A bridge helps to cross over the water to reach the other shore. Similarly, this Aparam Brahma, represented by the Nachiketa Agni, that is the Setu, the bridge for the karmis. And they perform the ritual Upasana and gain Krama Mukti, and they are free from samsara. Therefore, Aparam Brahma is a means to cross over samsara through Krama Mukti. Therefore, it is called Setu for the Karmakandis. For the Jignasus, Jnatum Ichuhu, Jignasus, this Param Brahma is a Setu. Param Brahma is a Setu by which they cross over the samsara here itself. That is the content of the first and the second mantra. Jivatma and Paramatma and the followers of Karmakanda and Jnanakanda, what is the destination talked about. Then in the third and the fourth mantra, the analogy of the chariot, the beautiful chariot, Ratha Kalpana, is explained to enable the easy understanding of the teaching. Here the individual is compared to the master, Ratha Swami of the chariot. The body of the individual is called Ratha, the chariot, the vehicle. Horses are compared to 5 horses, 5 sense organs. They are compared to Pancha Jnanendriyani. The mind is the rein holding the horses, Indriyani. Buddhi is the Sarathi, charioteer, who decides about the route and the goal to be reached. And the sense of objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, they are the Pantaha, they form the roads. They compare to the roads of travel that are to be used by the horses of sense organs, ears, skin, eyes, tongue and nose. So this is analogy is talked about in the third and the fourth mantra. Then in the next two mantra, Yamadharmaraja talks about the sadhana, the disciplines which are required for this yatra, the journey to be successful through the methods Anvaya and Vitireka. We have been using the word Anvaya and Vitireka. You must be familiar. Anvaya and Vitireka. Anvaya means Yat Bhave Tat Bhavaha. Yat Abhave Tat Abhavaha. If it is there, then the effect of that will be there. If it is not there, then the effect of that will not be there. Mrit Bhave Ghata Bhavaha. Mrit Abhave Ghata Abhavaha. Mrit Bhave Ghata Bhavaha is Anvaya. Mrit Abhave Ghata Abhavaha is Vitireka. If Karanam is there, Karyam will be there. Anvaya. If Karanam is not there, Karyam will not be there. Will not be there, that is Vyatireka. If the disciplines are followed, then success, that the destination is, the reaching the destination is success. It is ensured. If the disciplines, sadhanas, are not followed, then there cannot be success. That is the journey, the yatra, that is the Rathaswami who is seated on this body chariot. For him, the journey would be smooth or rough, depending on the performance of the horses and the roads, the condition of the roads and how the horses behave. That is the sense organs and sense objects. A jiva can make the journey successful only when all the accessories, that is all the factors which are involved, they are fit and they act in harmony with each other. They do not fight with each other. They act in alignment with each other. When the components, the accessories are not fit and they do not act in coordination, they do not act in harmony, then the journey would become a failure. You cannot reach the goal. That is the idea. So here, the viveka is the most important thing that a jiva must have, and it can be gained only through shastram, vichara, atma, anatma, vichara. So if the driver of the chariot, the jiva, if he is an informed person who knows that karma leads to jnanam and jnanam leads to moksha, and therefore he has the mind under him, under his pasha, under his management. If the person is a viveki and he has shama, shama is mind management, then he can make the journey successful. Shama, when we say, it implies dhamma also. When mind is managed, sense organs are also managed. Therefore, the viveka, shama and dhamma, these are the sadhanani, disciplines by which an intelligent being can reach the destination, that is moksha. That is what is in the fifth and sixth mantra. In the fifth mantra, yastu vijnanavan bhavati. The first yastu avijnanavan. The first quarter talks about viveka abhava, whereas the second quarter talks about ayuktena manasa sada shama abhava. So if viveka and shama are not there, shama not there, dhamma also will not be there. So therefore, and they are dushta iva saratehe. They are like dushta ashwas, horses. Therefore, vyatireka mukena, if they are not there, then you would not be able to reach the destination. Therefore, the importance of following the disciplines are presented. And in the sixth mantra, the anvaya mukena, the importance of the sadhanas are presented. If the buddhi has viveka and shama, then there will be dhamma also, like the driver who has viveka and the control of the reins, so that he can direct the horses properly on the road. Therefore, sadashva iva saratehe, yaha vijnanavan viveki, yuktena manasa, he has got dhamma. Therefore, is indriya, tasya indriya nivashyani. If shama is there, dhamma would be there. And therefore, it is compared to sadashva, good horses, so that he reaches the destination. When viveka is there, vairagyam would be there. Viveka, in fact, viveka leads to vairagya. Not would be there. The sequence, viveka is there, and it should lead to vairagya. The person is a committed person, then the viveka will lead to vairagya, and vairagya will lead to dhamma. That is what we saw previously. Kaṭhopaniṣat mahimanam atmanaha. Prasada is that shama. So if a person becomes relatively free from the hold of the desires, then shama and dhamma would be there. Thus, in the two mantras, 5 and 6, the three sadhanani talked about viveka, shama, and dhamma, and there the connection it is talked about in the fifth and sixth mantra. Then in the seventh and the eighth mantra, the connection between the sadhanam, that is viveka, shama, dhamma, otherwise called sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, That is a sadhanam. And the sadhya. Sadhya is moksha. That is talked about. Sadhanani in the 5th and 6th mantra. And sadhya is the 7th and the 8th mantra. If Viveka, Shama and Dhamma, Viveka, Shama and Dhamma is an upalakshana for the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi, Shakta sampatti, mumukshutvam. If they are there, then the goal is, gaining the goal is possible. Here the goal is knowing Brahma, gaining knowledge. That is possible. That is Anvaya Mukena. It is presented. If the sadhanas are not there, sadhanas are not followed, then moksha is not possible. Yad bhave tad bhavaha. Vivekadi sadhana bhave moksha praptihi. Yad abhave tad abhavaha. Vitireka. Vivekadi sadhana abhave moksha apraptihi. So two types of drivers are talked about. Vitireka mukena, one driver. Anvaya mukena, another driver. One with viveka, other one without viveka. In the 7th mantra, Yastu Vijnanavan Bhavati, Amanaska Sada Suchigi. The 7th mantra, that driver is talked about who is lacking in viveka, who doesn't have amanaskaha, who doesn't have mastery over the mind, doesn't have shama, and therefore he is ashuchihi, is impure. Impure means is commanded by, is under the control of ragadvesha. Ragadvesha has sway over this person. They rule the person. So therefore, in this transaction, is the sense organs will act under the sway of ragadvesha. That is called ashuchi. Therefore, he will continue to be a samsari. Therefore, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti abhave moksha abhavaha, it continues to be in samsara. Samsaram cha adhigacchati. And in the 8th mantra, a good driver, that is the who has all the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti sadhana, and therefore for him the moksha is assured. So the connection between the sadhanam and the sadhya is talked about for a good driver. Sadhana chatushtaya sampatti bhave moksha bhavaha. If the driver has Vijnanavan, has got viveka, and he has got samanaskaha, shuddha manas, mind is pure mind is under his control, under his management, and therefore Shuchihi, not overpowered by, not ruled by ragadvesha. That is what is indicated by the word Sada Shuchihi in the 8th mantra. Therefore, what happens to him? Tatpadam apnoti, he would gain that goal, gaining which he doesn't come again, he's not born. He's not born again. Sadhu tatpadam apnoti yasmad bhuyo na jayate iti, the 8th mantra. So the goal is talked about. He would reach that goal, gaining which, what is that goal? That is talked about in the 9th mantra. The word padam was used. Tatpadam apnoti. What is that padam? The padam meaning goal, which a successful sadhaka attains, and that is described in the 9th mantra. What is that padam? The Rathaswami, who has the buddhi, enjoying viveka and mastery over the mind, shama, and all the other sadhananis are there. That person, Naraha, which is indicated by the word Naraha in the 9th mantra, he is Vijnana Saratihi. Vijnana Saratihi Yaha. Vijnana Saratihi means Vijnanavat Saratihi. Yasya Ratinaha Saha. That is a person who has the discriminative intellect and disciplined mind. Saha apnoti. Saha apnoti. What? Advanaf param apnoti. The end. Advana is the path. Param is the end of the road. That is the destination. Advanaf param apnoti. The end of this journey is moksha. Tat. That is what Tat paramam padam. It is the most paramam padam, exalted padam, padyate, gamyate iti padam, about, and that is Vishnu. Whose padam? Vishnoho padam. So Vishnu padam he reaches. What is the Vishnu here? Vishnu means here It is the highest state of the nature of Vishnu, which is Nirgunam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Sachit Ananda Brahma. The Vishnu means Brahma. The word Vishnu, which we have seen, Vishnu can mean a Devata. Shankha Chakra Gadadhari Devata. Vishnu can also mean Virat. Vishwarupa Vishnu, the one who manifests in the form of this gross prapancha. That is another meaning of the word Vishnu. And the third meaning is Nirgunam Brahma, which is the Adhisthana of even that Virat, the Stula Prapancha. That is the meaning which we take, final meaning of the word Vishnu. The third meaning is applicable here. Saha Vishnu Padam Paramam Padam Apnoti. So, having the sadhanani, therefore, goals are assured and the person gains the mukti. You can see the connection up to the 9th mantra. The third meaning, that is Vishnoho Padam, the Vishnu Padam is Nirgunam Brahma. Why that Adhisthana Brahma, why we take? Because of the following mantras. Up to now, here, the Upanishad has not revealed what exactly that Vishnu Padam. Vishnu Padam, the word is used. That's why people, the commentators, they will interpret Vishnu, the word, as they wish, because the word has got meaning. Other meanings are also there, and that is clarified in the 10th and 11th mantra. The following two mantras, the 10th and the 11th mantra, that Vishnu Padam, that is the Padam, the goal, and that is revealed. It is revealed as an inward journey, the journey which culminates in the understanding of oneself. That is a Padam. So here, this Viveka is presented. That is, one has to apply Viveka and dismiss Anatma, as it is, as we do in Panchakosha Viveka. We analyze the Kosha, Panchakosha, starting from the grossest, dismissing Annamaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. That is starting from the grossest, ending with the subtlest, and ending in that which pervades everything, which is the cause of all the koshas, which is the cause of everything. That is called Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka. It is talked about in Taittiriya Upanishad and other Upanishads, and in Panchadashi elaborately. So here, that is talked about applying Viveka. You reach that Padam, the goal. The goal is Brahma Atma, which is the cause of everything. That is presented here. But it is presented in a way that the mantra to be seen properly. Without the Bhashyam, it is very difficult to explain the mantra. If you take the literally the words of the mantra, Indriyebhyaha para yartaha, we have seen elaborately this mantra. That is, it is said here, sense objects are paraha, superiors compared to sense organs. Why? Because sense organs depend on sense objects. Sense organs are made of Stula Pancha Mahabhutani, and sense objects are made of Sukshma Pancha Mahabhutani. In that sense, it is said sense objects are paraha, superior. That is the interpretation we have to take. Then manaha is superior to sense objects, because the mind is the grahaka. It alone, the sense organ provides the data, and it is revealed to the mind. It is revealed by the mind. The mind is not there, how the data can be processed, data can be taken in. So it is a grahaka. Therefore, mind is greater than the sense objects. And buddhi is greater than the mind, because the mind in the form of sankalpa and vikalpa, and buddhi, nishchayatmika buddhi. Mind is in the form of fancies. Buddhi dismisses those, applying viveka. Therefore, compared to the mind, buddhi is greater. Manasastu para buddhi. And compared to this buddhi, the individual buddhi, buddheratma mahan paraha, Mahat. Mahan is Mahat. Mahan Mahanto Mahataha. Mahantaha. Mahan Mahanto Mahantaha. That is Mahat referring to Hiranyagarbha. Samashti. Samashti Buddhi. Compared to Vyashti, Samashti is always greater. So therefore, superior than the Vyashti Buddhi. The Samashti Buddhi, which is Hiranyagarbha, which is presented here, represented by the word Mahan. And in the next mantra, 11th mantra, it is said Magatah Param Abhyaktam. Magat, referring to Samashti Sukshma Prapancha, that is Buddhi Hiranyagarbha, compared to Samashti Sukshma Sharira. Avyaktam is Param. Magatah Param Avyaktam. Avyaktam is unmanifest. That is called Maya. That is called Avyakrita. So Hiranyagarbha is Sukshma and Avyakta is a Karanam. So Karyat Karanam Param Bhavati. Therefore, compared to Hiranyagarbha, this Avyakta Maya is superior. Avyaktat. Then Avyaktat. Compared to this Maya, Avyaktat, Purushaha Paraha. Purushat na parang kinchit. Sakashta sapara gatihi. Compared to the unmanifest Maya, what is superior? Atma. Atma is superior. Paragati. Purushat na param kinchit asti. What is Purusha? Purishete. That which dwells in this city. Body city. In this body. Puri. Puram. Puri means city. This body is a city. That which dwells in the body. Or Sarvan Purayati iti Purushaha. That is Purushaha. There is nothing greater than this Purushaha. That is Atma. The word Param. Param means superiority. Superior. Superior means what? It is here in the superior means in terms of subtlety, subtler. Atma is a subtlest, Sukshma. Therefore, from the grossest to the subtler, subtler to the subtlest. That which is subtle pervades everything. So, therefore, by applying this Viveka, the Paraha, that which is Purushaha, the Atma is reached. How it is reached? Not physically, cognitively. Dismissing Anatma, recognizing that Purusha, the Atma to be oneself, who is not different from this Brahma, the Paramatma, which is the Jagat Karanam. That is a Jnanam. And this mantra is the same mantra you will find in Gita also, in a different, slightly a different form. The 3rd chapter of the Gita. Indriyani paran yagugu, indriyebhyah param manaha, manasastu para buddhihi, yo buddhev paratastu saha, evam buddhev param buddhva samstavyatmanamatmana, jagishatru mahabhago kamarupam durasadam iti last shloka, and thus one before that 43rd shloka, the same as it is here, the 10th mantra. It is that Bhagavan Krishna literally taken as taken this mantra. Many mantras in the Gita you will find the mantras of the Kaṭhopaniṣat, but this mantra is slightly modified and given in the Gita. Therefore, here this Purushat param na kinchit sakashta sa para gatihi. Therefore, tataha bhashakara, if you say that is the highest. There is nothing other highest than this Purushaha. Highest is superior because it is the Adhisthana. It is the one which is the ultimate Karanam. Therefore, there is nothing other than this. In fact, that alone is iti. Therefore, tataha anyasya parasya prasangam nivarayan aha purushanna kinchit asti. Vashakara says in its Bhashyam. That is ruling out the possibility of anything other than this Atma. The Shruti says nothing is greater to this Purusha, this Atma. Iti. Then in the 12th mantra, in the 11th mantra, the word Gati was used. Gati means movement. Gati means movement. In fact, the Shadlu, from the dhatu from which the word Upanishad is derived, it has a meaning of Gati, Avasadana. The meaning is that Visharana, Gati, Avasadana, Gati, movement. So here also Gati is there. Gati means movement, a travel, or a destination to be reached by travel. So Paragatihi, it means Atma is to be reached by travel. No. Atma is not something to be reached by travel or by movement. Moksha doesn't involve travel. Moksha, gatihi, moksha, praptihi, gaining moksha, it is purely cognitive. That is why we say it is here and now. You don't need to go anywhere. It is achieved, it is gained by knowing here and now. It has to be recognized as oneself. This conviction that moksha is in the form of knowledge is what is required. Therefore, what I want is jnanam, that conviction. Because of that conviction only, a mumukshu becomes a jignasu. And that involves two things. Atma abhimana, anatma abhimana tyaga and atma jnana. Giving up anatma abhimanam and knowing atma as atma. And that atma is gudaha. That atma is, the nature of the atma is present, that it is gudaha. Gudaha means that which is hidden. That Purusha, that Atma is Gudaha, not recognized. Why? Because Vidya Maya Channaha. It is covered by Avidya Maya, as though covered by Avidya. Avidya is Vidya Virodhi, Jnana Virodhi. Therefore, Adya is the veiling factor, Avarana. And Maya is the projecting factor, Vikshepa. Therefore, Atma is as though obscured, therefore Gudaha. Atma is as though obscured, and therefore it is taken as something else. The nature of Atma is projected as something else because of this covering. Therefore, Atma is as though hidden. Therefore, Ataha eva Atma na prakashate atmatvena kasyachit iti. And Maya, the very powerful, makes the impossible possible. Brahma, which cannot be Dvaitam, appears as though Dvaitam. Maya makes it possible. Prakasha Brahma, Atma, because of this Maya Upadhi, because of the power of the Maya, that Brahma is missed. And that is what the 12th mantra says. Yeshaha Purushaha Sarva Bhuteshu, in all beings, it is Gudaha, concealed. Not literally concealed, as it were, as though. Bhagavan is self-evident. Because of Avidya and Maya, we miss the Purusha, this Atma, Paramatma, because of our attention, because our focus is shifted to this Anatma. Atma is as though covered, therefore we miss the Atma, which is ever free, which is ever experienced, that is missed, and therefore we take the Anatma to be ourselves. In every experience, this Atma is a Ragam Ahamiti, Aproksha Anubhuti, that Atma. It is associated with every vritti of the mind. Every thought is illumined by Chaitanya. As though the vritti and the Chaitanya are entwined. Because of Avarana, because of the veiling factor, we carried over by the thought, and therefore we miss the Chaitanyam, which is Alupta Druk, which is ever waking, winking. It cannot, it is ever waking. It cannot wink. Alupta Druk, it doesn't wink. Every thought is known to Chaitanya. But our focus is only on the thought, therefore we miss the Chaitanya. The vrittis are drishyam, like the objects, the vrittis are also drishyam only. And Chaitanyam is drik, alupt. It is alupta drik. It never sleeps, never winks, unwinking. Therefore, in the experience of drishyam, the objects, which include the vritti, the drik is missed. Therefore, this consciousness, Chaitanya, which is myself, that can be known, that appears as though Gudaha, na prakashate, that can be known only by a person who has Sukshma Buddhi. The Atma, which is ever evident, because of Avidya, it is as though cover only a Sukshma Darshinaha, Sukshma Darshibihi Darshinaha can know with their Buddhi and the Shastram, and requires Shastram and requires Sukshma Buddhi. It means Sukshma Buddhi required for understanding what the Shastram reveals. Shastram being a Pramanam, without Shastra Pramanam cannot be known. Therefore, Shastra Pramanam, an understanding of the Shastram. Therefore, Buddhya Sukshmaya Darshibihi Drishyate. This is Drishyate means seen, not physically. Cognitively, it is seen as oneself. That is the mantra, 12th mantra. In the 13th mantra, the Shruti tells the means for gaining this knowledge. Here, as we saw, the attainment, reaching, gaining, and knowledge, they are same. There is no difference. Gaining is equal to knowing. Gatihi is avagatihi. Reaching Paramatma, reaching Bhagavan is knowing Paramatma, knowing Bhagavan. And what is the means for knowing? Adhyatma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Therefore, the Jnana Yoga, which is the Upaya, it is elaborated. That is a means. The means for gaining moksha is Jnana Yoga, that Adhyatma Yoga, which is referred to by the word Adhyatma Yoga in the previous valley which we saw. Jnana Yoga, that is the means, and that is the form of Shravana, Manana, Nididyasana, and that is presented in the following mantra. Atmavare Drashtavyaha, Shrotavyaha, Nitidyasi, Tavyaha iti. Shastram gives Atmajnana, and that is a means for attainment, gaining of this knowledge, Atmajnanam. And using the means of knowledge is called Shravanam. Therefore, Shravanam is operation of the means of knowledge. That is called Shravanam. And Nididhyasanam is assimilating the knowledge. So, Shravanam and Nididhyasanam, these are the sadhanani by which the gatihi, avagatihi happens. And that is what is said here. What is Shravanam? We have seen many times the definition. Dwelling on the teaching with the help of the Acharya, the Guru, that is called Shravanam. Shravanam is the words of the teacher. The teacher is present, alive, listening to the words. Dwelling means that time you are present, physically, mentally, and teacher is there. Teacher's presence also it is there. Therefore, listening to the words and dwelling. Dwelling means it is you are present and listening, aware of what is allowing the pramanam to operate. That is Shravanam. And dwelling on the teaching by recollection after the class, that is called Nididhyasana. So Shravanam implies the presence of the Acharya, the teacher. Nididhyasanam implies the absence of the teacher. Teacher not required. Not required. Teacher should not be there. Nididhyasanam is the person recollects what he had listened to. Shravanam nama, there's a definition. Shravanam nama shat vida lingaihi ashesha vedantanam advitiya vastuni tatparya avadharanam. That is called Shravanam. The text called Atmanatma Viveka, it is beautifully presented what Shravanam is. Shravanam meaning listening. Listening through 6 Shadvida Linga, 6 signs. Linga meaning sign or symbol, by which the meaning of the Vedanta, that Advitiya Vastu, is clearly ascertained. That is called Shravanam. Shadvida Linga. What are the 6 lingas? Upakrama, Upasamhara, Abhyasa, Phala, Apurvata, Arthavada, Upapatti. These are the 6 linga. Upakrama means beginning, approach, beginning. Upasamhara is conclusion. Abhyasa, repeated practice. Then Phalapurvata is the uniqueness of the result. Arthavada is the statements which are glorifying statements. Upapatti is knowing through reason. These are these 6 linga. In fact, all the vakyas of the Upanishad, these lingas are applied. The Mimamsakas, other, you would see, even Purva Mimamsa also. The 6 lingas they apply and they interpret the meaning of the Vakya, Shadlinga. We will talk about more on this Shadlinga. In fact, we do the same thing also in Shadlinga. In the beginning, we just give in the introduction is given, then it is elaborated. It is repeated. Tattvamasi, if you see Chandogya Upanishad, it is how many times it is? It is repeated 9 times. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. Why? Abhyasa. Punah, punaha. Again, it is repeated. Given the introduction, it is further elaborated, it is repeated, and finally it is summarized. These are the methods by which the subject matter is presented. That is called the Shadlinga. So Shravanam includes the Shadlinga, the 6 lingas, and Mananantu Shrutasya Advitiya Vastunaha Vedanta Anuguna Yuktibihi Anavaratam Anuchintanam, without any gap Anuchintanam. Analyzing the statement of the Upanishad, that is, which presents Advitiyam Brahma, and that, pondering on that, dwelling on that, Anavaratam, always, that is, Mananam. And Nididhyasanam is Vijatiya Deghadi Pratyaya Ragita Advitiya Vastu Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravagaha Nididhyasanam. That is the definition of Nididhyasanam. Ascertaining the Paramatma. Oh, Vijatiya Deghadi Buddhi. Buddhyanta Jada Padartha Nirakaranena. Dismissing the body, mind, sense complex with our which are Jada, dismissing that, which are Vijatiya. And Sajatiya Advitiya Vastu Vishaya Pratyaya Pravahi Karanam Nididhyasanam. That is ascertaining Brahma by entertaining the thoughts which are related to Brahma, Swarupa of Brahma. That is called Nididhyasanam. Therefore, in this mantra, Nididhyasanam is talked about. That is 13th mantra. If we take 10th mantra and 11th mantra, what we saw before, as the mantra dealing with the Shravanam, then this mantra can be taken as Nididhyasanam, Nididhyasana mantra. And here we have to know, we have seen very clearly that Nididhyasanam is not meant for gaining new knowledge. Nididhyasanam, by Nididhyasanam, you don't gain any new knowledge. It is not for producing any new knowledge. It is meant for assimilation of knowledge, avadharana. What was received and that has to be assimilated. It is like digestion after eating. Eating is Shravanam and digestion is, that is Nididhyasanam. So Nididhyasanam is a sadhanam for the assimilation of the jnanam which was received in Shravanam. Therefore, contemplation of the Shrutartha, what has been listened to make that teaching, one with oneself. That is, you have to become the teaching. The vision of the Shastra should become my vision. That is called Nididhyasana. So it is not meant for producing new knowledge. And there are many prakriya of doing this Nididhyasana. One method is Pravilapana prakriya, otherwise called Laya prakriya, through which we arrive at Atma. And here it is presented, Echevang Manasi Prajnaha, a discriminating person should dissolve the organ of speech into the mind. He should dissolve the mind into the intellect, which is intellect, and dissolving that intellect into the Hiranyagarbha, and finally Hiranyagarbha into Atma. Iti Laya Prakriya, this Nididhyasanam is presented. Laya Prakriya is dissolving, and dissolving means not physically. It is dismissing, starting from the grossest one, that is sense organs, and going up to the Atma. They are doing neti, not this. That's called Privilapa Prakriya, Laya Prakriya. So that is called dissolution. And it is not physical dissolution, it is cognitive. That is the Nididhyasanam talked about in this 13th mantra. Then the 14th mantra, how this knowledge is gained is talked about. The 14th mantra, 4 things are talked about here. One is the Manushya Janma is very rare. Manushya Prashamsa. So this, therefore Shruti says sadhaka should be ready for this knowledge. You have gained the Manushya Janma and work for Purushartha and make your Purushartha very clear. Have the Purushartha Nishtaya, knowing the limitation of Dharmartha Kama, and therefore you choose to have moksha as your purushartha. Let other purushartha be subservient to that. And that moksha is gainable only through knowledge. Then therefore it should be endowed with all the qualification for moksha. That is the first point. Uttishtata. Then second point is you wake up from this sleep, jagrata. And that wake up will happen only by knowledge. The third point. Fourth point is this knowledge is not possible on your own. You cannot read on your own. You have to gain by going to the teacher. So therefore, Prapya Varan Nibodhata. Uttishtata. Uttishtata means not physical, not literally stand up. Uttishtata means you gain the capacity, yogyata, to gain Atma Jnana. Jnana yogyata siddhi. That is through Karma Yoga and Upasana. Therefore, having attained Jnana yogyata, you go to the Guru, Prapya Varan Nibodhata, and gain Jnanam through Shravanam. Therefore, here the knowledge is gained. Upanishad says knowledge is gained by going to the teacher. Tadvitti pranipatena pariprashtena sevaya iti. And in the previous mantra, the Atma was talked about. It is like Kshurasya Dhara. In this mantra only talked about Kshurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya. It is like walking on the razor's edge. Why it is talked about like that? Why it is difficult? Walking on the razor's edge means it is so difficult. You have to be extremely careful. Why? That is talked about in the next mantra, the 15th mantra. Why it is so? That is, this Atma is Ashabdam Asparasham Arupam. Very important shloka which defines Brahma, Atma, knowing which the person Mrittimukat Pramuchyate is released from the Mukha, the jaws of death. And what is that to be known? Brahma, which is Ashabdam, free from Shabda, sound for the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandha, not there, free from the Guna. Asparasham, it is free from Sparsha, touch, it cannot be touched. Arupam, doesn't have form, doesn't have color. Avyayam, it is free from being decaying. And it is Arasam, free from taste. That is, it cannot be tasted, not available for any sense organ. It is Nityam, not subject to time. Agandavad, free from smell, cannot be smelled. That is, you cannot know the Brahma through operating the Pratyaksha Pramana. And it is Anadi, it is Anantam. It has no beginning, no end. And Magataf Param. Magataf Param, it is greater, distinct from Magataha. Magat is Hiranyagarbha. Samashti Buddhi. Samashti is Sukshma Sharira. And it is Dhruvam. It is ever changelessly permanent. We have seen. Tam nichaya mrittimukat pramuchyate. Knowing that the person becomes free from the death. It means Yamadharmaraja says, I will not frighten that person. Iti talked about. Therefore, since it is not available for any of the pramana, only to Shastra pramana, it is Sukshma Vishaya. Therefore, it is the walking on the razor's edge. Iti. Then the knowledge is glorified in the following mantras. Prasuta Vijnana Stutyartam Aga Shrutihi. For the purpose of the glorification of this knowledge, the Shruti says, Nachiketam Upajnanam Mrityu Proktam Sanatanam. Having heard and narrated the story, Akyana, and this teaching received by Nachiketa, as told by the Mrityu Yamadharmaraja, what happened? This intelligent person, anybody listening to this Sambhada, the conversation, that is the teaching, what happened to the person? The person is Brahmaloke Mahiyate, is glorified in Brahmaloka. It means what? Gaining knowledge, he becomes Brahma. Therefore, as Brahma is glorified, this person also glorified. He deserves to be worshipped, honored, because he has gained that knowledge. Brahmaloke Mahiyate iti, the result, the Palashruti is talked about. And the next mantra, it says, even if the gaining the Brahma, the knowledge of Brahma, even if that is not there, even if that is not gained, then that is at least by chanting this mantra, By chanting this mantra itself, one gets the palam. Iyamam paramam gugyam shravayet brahma samsati. The one who repeats his teaching, Brahma samsadi, in the assembly of Brahmanas, prayata shraddha kaleva, the time of shraddha, or at the time of shraddha ceremony, tadanantyaya kalpate, or at the time of shraddha, the ceremony for the departed, then this chanting will give palam, chanting will give anantyaya kalpate, it will give anantya palam, it will give unlimited palam. It means it will give palam, that is, listening to this itself, chanting to this itself will give palam. It doesn't mean we can compromise on the main palam, that is knowing Brahma, knowing that is getting moksha. That is the ultimate palam. 17th mantra says, chanting this mantra itself in the assembly of Brahmins. Brahmana means not only Brahmins, that is well-informed people, Brahmana or Vaidikas, or repeating at the time of the Shraddha Kala, Anantyaya Kalpate, it will, Ananta, the palam, Anantyaya Kalpate, so it will give the result. The palam which is not limited, infinite result. Infinite result means not moksha. Just repeating the words of the Upanishad, chanting, that will not give moksha. But it will give superior palam, the result. The Upanishads, the mantras are glorified. Just the mantras are chanting, the mantras itself will give palam. Iti, the Upanishad glorifies. Just as we have Palashruti for shloka, chanting Aditya Hridayam, Palashruti is given. Chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, Palashruti is given. Similarly, Palashruti for mere chanting of the mantra, that is given in the 17th mantra. Main palam is Brahmaloke Medhavi, Uktva Shutva Medhavi, Brahmaloke Mahiyate. He becomes one with Brahma. Is not becoming means not transforming. He is already Brahma. He recognizes himself to be Brahma. Therefore, being a Jnani, he is glorified by all the people. Brahmaloke Mahiyate, Brahma Bhutva, Brahma Eva Bhavati. And he is glorified by all the people. Iti, this Valli is concluded. Next begins the fourth Valli, that is the first Valli of the second chapter. So our Upanishad, Kaṭhopaniṣat, doesn't end here, continues in the next class also. We'll stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Dhanyavada Guruji.
धन्यवाद जी.
Dhanyavada.
It is a little elaborate. So one Valli.
Yeah, we can recollect everything, whatever. Yeah, good.
Dhanyavada Guruji.
धन्यवाद जी.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
धन्यवाद जी.